Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
So you're bored, are ya? I've come here to break your monotony. Let me have my piece, because I'm shooting with this one, folks. I don't care, man.
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary.
Why did you say that? Why? What? You come out with stink like that? Poop. Your poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
See, son? Old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum look a lot alike, Daddy.
I've got a midget friend, an albino friend, and another friend who thinks Lord of the Rings is real. Together we call ourselves the Unfuckables.
Quinton is in. Let the fun begin.
Body touch.
You guys are an asshole, man.
I've never heard of CAMEO.
Hello, Las Vegas. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you. It's always good to be seen. I'm Izzy Presley. The show's another effing podcast, and you can find us, Real Izzy Presley, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course the show page, another effing podcast, and the Patreon. If you're on the Patreon, you're getting this ad-free. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is a landmark show. For the second time in the history of the show, even though it wasn't really this show, it was more the Metal Edge show, I have a co-host. And I'm proud to bring him to you. The news has got out. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him from the Adam Carolla show. You know him from the water cooler. He's a comic. He's Mike Dawson in the Smoke and Kills. And he's on the radio in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Dawson.
Yeah, Izzy Presley. Happy to be here, man.
Welcome.
Not many people in my life who would ask me to join a podcast would ever get the answer, hell yeah. But I'm happy to be here because we're simpatico. We know the same things. We talk about the same things. We have the same dreams, desires. We like the same girls, you know. And so it's a match made on the highway to hell.
I agree. And, you know, you like a lot of the same music. And you're my best friend. You know, it was after the Corolla Christmas party. We were drinking beers and just like, I threw it. And you like thought about it for 1 second. You go, yeah, hell yeah. Let's fucking do this. And I love it.
Yeah, there was no other answer.
That was, what's going on in Dawson world?
Well, here's how you know that I'm a real rock and roller. And I thought about this earlier today. I live with my mom.
You do.
That's how you know that I dedicated my life to rock and roll and nothing else. No, what is going on is I do live with my mom. We just finished building my mom's house in my backyard. It's not completely done yet, but now my mom is living in my house until her house is completely done. And so that's what's going on in Dawson land. You know, it's January 2nd today. On New Year's Eve, my mom and I watched Die Hard. And that was New Year's Eve. And then we went outside and watched illegal fireworks in the San Fernando Valley because my mother had never experienced the war zone that makes us call this area Little Beirut. Yeah. But, you know, it's been let's just call it some time off because of the holidays.
And you know what? Time off is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, you get back and you can relax and just cleanse the fucking palate and have fun. You know? And then
well, it's funny because I went up to the Bay Area for the Christmas holiday to spend with my mom up at the old house. And up there, I felt guilty for being lazy, and I didn't have a recording studio in that house, so I couldn't do any work anyway. And then when I get home and my mom's here, it's like, I don't want to work. I want to, you know, I don't know, whatever, dude. I love my mom. She's great. And that's what life has been all about over here. But I am getting excited because in a couple of months, we're getting back on a boat.
Yeah, we are. Cruise season has officially begun now that we have turned the page and turned into 2026. Oh, and Dawson, I cannot move forward without doing this. The first one of the new era, Jesus Christ, in the words of my close personal friend, Stone Cold Steve Austin, crack one for the working man. Cheers.
Cheers, my brother. Happy New Year.
I love this. And Merry fucking New Year. I love this. I get to crack beers, crack wise, and talk to people much more famous than us and have some fun. Have some fun.
Yeah. And live vicariously through their experiences.
That's right.
And wish we were there without the extreme FOMO, you know?
Exactly. But yeah, we're going to be on the boat on Cruise to the Edge in March. Then the big dog, Monsters of Rock cruise. It is going to be fucking great. And Cruise to the Edge is going to be a blast as well. If you guys do want to get on those boats, if you're a prog fan, cruisetotheedge.com and Monsters of Rock Cruise.com. And don't forget in August, the Mountain Music Festival used to be Monsters on the Mountain, and that is at
in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Gatlinburg, and that is
where you share the sidewalk with bears.
That's right. And I believe that website is the Mountain Music USA. Hold on. I have it up. I did have it up. Then I had to Google something during the interview.
Incredible lineup this year, by the way. John Waite, Night Ranger, Lita Ford. Of course, Slaughter.
Yep.
Faster Pussycat. Yep. That's going to be a hell of a weekend, dude.
White Lion, Dangerous Toys. Dangerous Toys fucking rule. 38 Special is always fucking amazing. Steelheart.
You know, it's funny, dude. I thought about this the other day, and I came across this on my radio show. I had to back sell Leonard Skinner's Saturday Night Special. And I finally made the connection. Now, it was basically Leonard Skinner's statement on, gun violence.
Yep.
And for the first time in my life, I made the connection in my mind. Wait a minute. A Saturday Night Special is a 38 revolver, also known as a 38 Special. The front man for 38 Special is Donnie Van Sant, who is Ronnie Van Sant's brother. Did they take their name from Saturday Night Special? Is that had to have been the genesis of
Well,
that.
You know what, Dawson? I should pull some strings. Maybe we could get him on.
Let's do that.
And then we
can
can
get
ask
him on.
him that question.
Let's pull some strings.
Let's pull some strings. I have I got a lot of bullets in the chamber that I'm going to shoot for coming up very soon, and I believe that one should be one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Wow.
this interview,
I might have to take my shoes off.
This interview we're about to get into, we just got done recording. Jimmy D'Anda from the Bulletboys, who are now reunited once again. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. There is some fucking stories.
What a great dude.
Yeah, great guy, amazing drummer, and I guess the one person I know that got in a fight with Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an ex-girlfriend, or I have an ex-girlfriend, who she worked for Westwood One, but she wasn't as into rock and roll as we are. And she was at some radio event for Westwood One, and she was outside on a balcony smoking a cigarette in Los Angeles. And this guy comes out, and he asks her if he could bum a cigarette. And she's like, yeah, of course. And she's like, I'm Katie. And he's like, hey, I'm Ed. And he says, don't tell anyone you saw me smoking. I'm not supposed to be doing this. And she's like, oh, yeah, Ed, why not? Turns out it was Eddie Van Halen. And she didn't get into a fight with him.
Yep. Did not.
Yeah.
Did not. But that's a very fun little thing that you're going to come across in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to have because we got the fucking porn awards coming up again, and I'm gonna have to make my way down there and get some more spots.
Of course.
And that's that. Because that works great between this and the interview. I don't have one for us right now. Because maybe next one. I still got a couple left to burn. But what do you think? Should we get into this?
Sure, man. But how are you doing? Happy New Year.
Merry New Year. I'm fine. You know me. Just doing my thing, and looking forward to a good year.
A good year, but yeah. Don't want to jinx it, man. A good year. Let's just go good. When people say prosperous,
that'd be nice.
It usually works out as perspiperous.
There's that.
So let's be careful and not jinx things. And let's be clear and concise when we speak.
I did a show just for the Patreon, and the Patreon shows are just for the Patreon. This is obviously going to be on the Patreon, get it ad free. But the one I did on New Year's Eve when I got home from my little soiree I went to, it's a little small gathering here in Vegas at the Bootlegger with Sir Edward of Trunk, and I went through a list of things, but I don't call them resolutions.
Yeah,
I call them expectations, things that I expect of myself. Because I feel like if you call it a resolution, it's like, fuck it, whatever, Yeah. But if it's an expectation of yourself, that's going to drive me harder to do this kind of stuff.
I agree. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
reminds me of a line from a song by a little band called Nickel Creek that are not metal at all. But the line is, others have excuses. I have my reasons why. Others have resolutions. You have expectations.
Yeah, I fucking love it. Dawson, I'm so excited for this because we're going to have my world, but we're also going to have your world. Guests from my world, guests from your world.
So, so everybody gets both worlds.
It is the best.
And they are the worlds that matter.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are going to go to the drummer for the Bulletboys, the OG, and he's back with them, Jimmy D'Anda, right here on another effing podcast with Izzy Presley and Mike Dawson. So no, we're starting right now.
Nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining us, the very first guest of the year, and surprise, it's his first time on here. I've known this cat for so long. He is the drummer of, he's played with fucking Lynch Mob. He's played with Piercy DiMartini, and he is, again, in the reunited Bullet Boys, Jimmy D'Anda. Good to see you, buddy.
Oh, thank you for having me, both of you guys. It's good to see you guys, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So you guys just played, and this is what, the second or third show since you guys came back together?
Well, actually, we had reunited, just me, Lonnie, and the singer Mark. And we had a guitar player that was sitting in for a minute, and unfortunately, his scheduling got a little loopy. But and Mick, had a change of heart and wanted to come back into the fold, so that worked out. So we have all original members, and we've done 3 shows thus far. We did, which is really kind of cool because the first show back was with Lynch Mob, with George Lynch, and of course Jaron Galino, who's like my little brother. But Andrew Freeman, who's it's so incestuous because he sang for what was a version of Bullet Boys called Lies, Deceit, and Treachery.
That's right.
So it's all family, though, because Mark and him hung out. They talked, and it's all brothers. We're trying our best to move forward. And remember that, playing music, you guys, I think we all know this now. It's a gift, man. Nobody gets to do this. You don't deserve this. But I will say, for the first time in a long time, we're in a better place than we've all been, and I think it had to take age. I think we had to get older. I think that's really. I'm not saying anybody's more spiritual or fucking saw the light. I do believe we got older, and we looked around and we went, And Lonnie was the one that said it. He's like, Jimbo, how much time do we have? Seriously. Like, if you just look at the clock, how much more time? I go, Lonnie,
Right.
you're preaching to the choir. You're right. I don't know, but it's been good. So 3 shows with Mixed Way, the full lineup.
Well, Jimmy, even to have what career you've had already, that should be enough.
Yeah.
You know, it never is, but it should be enough to scratch that itch.
Right.
And how fortunate are you now that, like, you kind of alluded to this, you know everything now.
Right.
You know the game back and forth, and now you're in. You probably take better care of yourself, a little more professional.
Yeah.
You know all the tricks to the trade. How much more fun is it now, or is it going to be? Because you don't have to worry about all the little shit that you had to worry about in the beginning.
You're 100% right. It's right now, it's not as fun as it's going to be, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because right now, it's just like anytime somebody gets back with an ex, we have to just kind of get used to each other. I mean, on stage, don't get me wrong, on stage, we are completely fucking, it is like, I can't even, we try to talk about it, the band, like, we're all backstage going, why does this sound the way it sounds?
Yeah.
I played with George Lynch and Warren DeMartini, some of the greatest guitar players on the history of the fucking planet. And when I play next to Mick Sueda, it's a completely different animal. Because, and I know it has lots to do with, we started out together, we created something together, and we have like this thing that when we were in the studio and rehearsals and so on. But I will say, right now it's good. But it's going to get better, and you're right, because we're going to get, some a little bit of a staff involved, somebody to help, do the heavy lifting on the road. That's going to take a big part of that, the stress out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to just hang out and go do shows, have food, see other bands play, come home to our families, a check comes in the mail, and then that's it. Rinse, wash, repeat.
Right.
And no more bullshit. We all said this, and I'll be honest, and for those of you who know, I've never aired dirty laundry in my fucking life about my band, because there's no sense in it. And like, I'm a fan. I don't want to hear Robert Plant talk shit about Jimmy Page. I don't fucking want, you know what I mean? So I've never talked shit about anyone in this band, but I will tell you right now, this band right now is probably in the best place because we've set some rules up. We've said, you guys, no more fighting, no more yelling, no more fuck yous. None of that shit's going to happen now. Let's just be, if there's a problem, if there's an issue, let's discuss it. If we can't resolve it, let's turn around and walk away until the answer shows itself. So in that sense, we're already off to a better start than we have been in our past at all.
Well, I can already tell that excuse me, Izzy, I can already tell how much you've evolved through maturity when you said we're going to have food.
Yeah, right?
That wouldn't be in the top 20 on your rider, however many years ago. Food. What's food?
Right?
Now you can enjoy a nice steakhouse.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Hell yeah.
We talk about steak and getting some baked potato on the road.
Yes.
And that's literally our jam right now. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Jimmy, let me ask you this. Is that one of the reasons that the reunion kind of fell apart? It was, a couple years ago, because there weren't rules in place and it was just kind of falling back into the same old drama?
Well, unfortunately, we tried to do it during COVID. Mm-hmm. And in that instance, there was already so many kind of barricades up for the band, and so we just couldn't really sit down and have discussions. And really, the truth was, we didn't kind of go back and clear some of the air up. One of the first things that me and the singer Mark did is we went to a Mexican restaurant that we both have grew up by. And unfortunately, it just closed. I just found it just closed the other day, called Ordóñez, which I'm so heartbroken by. But we sat there, and I said, Mark, I'm going to say some words that might hurt you, but I mean it out of love, because I want this thing to work, and I don't want to set us up for failure like we did before. So let's begin this process. You can say the things, I can say things, but these are not coming from a bad place. They're coming from a place that I want to heal from this. I don't want to have all that shit hanging over my shoulder where I'm pissed at you and you're pissed at me about stuff. So we did do that, but does that mean it prevents any future problems? No, it does not.
No.
You know, we're human beings and we're subject to fail at a lot of places in our lives. So that's why in the talking process and nobody gets fucking angry, nobody does this stuff. I think
Yeah.
kind of eliminating those things. And if we just go, well, I'm not happy now, bro, I'm going to walk away. Okay, I'm out. And just walk away for that time period. So we can then still know, okay, we're still a band.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on. But I would love you guys, honestly, I would love to finish my career with Bullet Boys. I started out with those. I was 19 years old when I did the first Bullet Boys album. I would love to say from here, from 58 to 68 or 70, I can say, that's it. I finished my career with the band that I started with, and I will be a fucking happy person.
Yes.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful. Hey,
It's funny too, because since you all do know each other for over so many years, you notice in a relationship when one person loses their shit, the other person's like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
You got more dudes.
Yeah.
Pulling the weight, and it's just, I think you're right, man. It's just going to get a lot funner.
I really do believe that, because I think that, you know, just at the fact that we're being honest with each other, you know, that's one of the things that a lot of bands, you know, we all know this, you know, if it was easy for bands to reunite and stay reunited, you'd see every fucking band out there doing it, you know, and there's a reason that there's so few. I mean, if you guys think about it, outside of right now, us Bullet Boys, there isn't one band from the 80s that's all original.
No, exactly, dude. And why is Dean Castronovo singing Steve Perry parts in San Francisco before a football game? Because people can't fucking get along.
I'm telling you, it is very, very difficult, because it's not only personalities, but it's egos and it's feelings, and people get hurt, and it's a fuck you and a fuck you, and then they decide to make that entire decision reflect their business career. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it. I've done it before. You know, I think a lot of us have done it, but I know that if you could set up some guidelines to help each other, to kind of guardrails, if you will, so no one fucking goes over the edge, I think we're able to have some luck, some hope, some success in staying together. So that's what I'm hopeful for, you guys.
Well, Jimmy, and there's actually 3 other ones: King's X, Tora, and when Poison eventually does come back.
Well, let's hope they come back.
Yeah.
Let's hope they, you know. I didn't know. I mean, I forgot King's X. You're right, but I didn't know Tora. So good for them. I mean, listen, it's just a crazy anomaly to think that the band just can't do it, and then, you know, then before you know it, then somebody passes on.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And then you get. You know, I was in a band, dude. I was in a band with Mike Starr from Alice in Chains, which is this was kind of a weird thing. It was the last thing that he did when he passed away, so that freaked me out a little bit. And then I was in the last lineup of Janie Lane's solo band.
Oh, shit.
And then he died. And then, dude, those things kind of, they fucking stay with you. They hurt you because you know these people and you're traveling the life with them, you know, step by step. We're talking, we're having breakfast, we're out there on the road. And then you get a call from one of their family members. Hey, Janie's gone. And you're sitting there and you kind of like, you're shocked. You're like, gone. Okay. Janie's gone. Okay. It's just fucking crazy thing. So, you know, again, we're trying to do this now with Bullet Boys. I hate to be so morbid, but it's kind of like you kind of have to put that in the back somewhere. Like, you guys, there's only so much time we got on planet Earth, so let's do our best, please. Let's not fuck this up, you guys. Let's just do our best, and that's where we are right now.
And Jimmy, this is how I do things. I don't have a list of questions in front of me. I shoot. I shoot from the hip, so we kind of bounce all over the place.
I love it.
You talked about Michael Starr. You talked about Janie Lane.
Yeah.
And you're sober.
Yeah.
How long have you been sober, and how did their deaths have an effect on that? Because obviously we know what happened with them.
Right. I've been clean and sober now for 24 years. I just celebrated November 19th, 24 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, you guys. Believe me, it doesn't get lost on me. I'm well aware of like how difficult it is that first of all, to get clean and sober is a miracle within itself, because for most of us,
we've never had guidelines in our lives. I didn't have guidelines. I was 19 years old, showing up to gigs. It was not only acceptable for me to be loaded, it was expected for me to be loaded. You know, I got to the venue. There was a guy outside with a bag, and he shook my hand. And he goes, "What's up, Jimmy D?" And I went, "Oh, hey, what's up, bro?" You know, it wasn't just a part of my lifestyle. It was my business as well. So the fact that I was able to have a moment of clarity and look around and go, "This is not going to last long," and I know it. That in itself is a miracle, but being able to stay clean and sober through the trials and tribulations of life, you know, because just the 405 freeway can make people fucking relapse.
Sure.
Yep.
You know, so it's an interesting, you know, concept to be able to go, okay, just for today, I'm not going to take a drink, a snort, a pill, or anything that's going to be mind altering. So for me, thank you. It is a blessing, and I hold it close to my heart. You know, the tough part about it is with both Janie and Mike Starr, you know, I took Mike Starr to meetings, and for a minute there I was his sponsor, and I remember he was always on the edge. He always stood on the edge, you know, of being I'm going to say abstinent. I don't know if I can say sober, but abstinent. Right. And then, you know, and we could see it. Everyone around it could see that, you know, he was having more and more difficulty. And then same with Janie. But there's a saying, and I hate it, and I don't mean this to sound crude or disrespectful or heartless, but, you know, for some addicts, alcoholics, some have to die in order for others to live.
Sure.
You know, and I will tell you, it scared the fucking shit out of me to know that my friends that I was hanging out with here in my house were dying from drugs and alcohol. And it's listen, I'm no different. I'm a day away from being one of those guys again. I'm a day away from relapsing. I got a bunch of money. I got guitars that I could fucking pawn and sell. I mean, I'm much more closer to having a fucking overdose than ever before, because now I have the money to do it. So, you know, those guys remind me that, listen, I have a disease. I have something that is a big problem for Jimmy. I can never say to anybody who has a problem or who doesn't. That's not what it's about. Right. But I do know that when those things happen, it shakes you to your core. You lose a dear friend, and it reminds you how precious life is. So for me, it was, and for all of us, you guys knew those guys too, and it's devastating to have our friends leave so soon in life. I mean, they're never going to get grandkids. They're never going to see, you know, the other side on the back nine when we're out there playing like fucking, you know, Mick Jagger and fucking Keith Richards, hopefully when they're 80s, you know. I mean, that would be a nice experience for all of us to see each other go through that, you know.
Right. Was it tough for you over the pandemic, being locked in and?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, for, you know, not seeing friends and family, of course. I think for all of us that was the part that was fucking, that drove me crazy. Not seeing my mom
I'm talking
and my brother.
The sobriety part, because everything was closed except for the liquor stores.
And the strip clubs.
And the strip clubs, yeah. The good shit, the important
and
shit.
Dealers still had no problem going door to door. So
Right. You know, that's so funny you say that. But yeah, I don't really remember having a problem per se as far as the wanting to take a drink or a snort or anything. The loneliness was difficult, but I at that time I don't think I really had any issues with relapse, even though I do know it was in my neck of the woods out here, because I'm out in the valley, Reseda and Northridge. There was a lot of relapses of a lot of people that I know. And you're right, it was a tough experience for people.
Yeah, I'm in the valley too.
Okay,
and
so
just being in the valley most of the time is a reason to have a drink. You know. And then God forbid in 3 days you got to go south of Sunset Boulevard. You're like, shit, I need a drink now.
Right.
And the valley has its own wonderful curse to it. But there are so many God blessed great musicians out here. I mean, you ever go out to Maui Sugar Mill?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? That's
out there in Tarzana.
Yes,
that's a bastion. Ireland's 32.
Yeah, Ireland is great.
On the edge of North Hollywood and Van Nuys.
Yeah.
That's another great place. It's like the San Fernando Valley, pound for pound. I'll put it against any other territory, even Ojai.
Yeah.
You know, per the guitars. Let's just put it at guitars per capita. It's going to be a high number.
Well, remember, I mean, I'm literally 5 minutes from the country club, the old country club.
Oh,
right here in
yeah.
Waseda. I'm 5 minutes from there, which is now a church, which is kind of wild to know.
Oh,
The
wow.
Karate Kid Country Club?
Yeah, but dude, I mean, you know how much coke started in there, and now people are in there praising the Lord. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Think about
That's
that.
insanity.
But dude,
Everything comes full circle, right?
That's what I'm saying. But dude, we saw like Armored Saint and Metallica there. I saw Malice there. I saw dude, we saw some of the greatest rock bands there at the country club, dude. And that's like, for us, one of the places you strive to play when you were a kid growing up in LA. It was the Troubadour and the Roxy, the Whiskey a Go-Go. But the country club was kind of like almost like an arena, because it was so big. We loved
Was
that.
any of those bands that when you saw them, like Metallica, for instance, you see them at the country club, could you tell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The energy that was being displayed not only by the band but by the fans was palpable. It was like you just knew you were a part of something. Listen, I was part of the Sunday with Motley Crue. We were seeing Motley Crue in the clubs and Rat as well. And the energy was just you knew it was special. You knew you were a part of something that had movement behind it, and that's what gave me and my brother and all my friends when we grew up playing music, knowing that I just saw a band play at the Troubadour, and now they're out with, Van Halen, or out with, some, so that was a real eye-opening experience to be able to see those bands play. And that's what's wild. Like, I'm playing now with, Carlos Cavazo and Warren DeMartini and Stephen Pearcy, that's a wild thing for me, because I grew up watching. There's Carlos's first band or one of his early bands was a band called Snow, which is one of the greatest rock bands for me in the history of Los Angeles. And so getting to hang out with those guys now is just such an amazing experience that I just get to tell stories and stuff.
Well, you talk about those early days, and when you really think about it, it was a moment in time.
Yeah,
that will never happen again.
Right.
And it, same thing happened in the 60s with the British invasion and the Beatles and shit like that.
Right.
But what happened out here between the San Fernando Valley and the Sunset Strip during that period of time, it's an exclusive club that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so wild to think that how many bands came out during that time period. I mean, it was Quiet Riot, it was Motley, it was Rat. There were just so many like little one-offs we saw Poison. I saw Poison come into town. Like, they weren't here, and I was dating a girl in Hollywood, and I remember she was her roommate was dating Brett. So we would go there, and before Poison was Poison, I'd see Brett outside, and we'd talk, and we were friends and stuff. We became friends because we dated, roommates. I saw those guys get here. They were sleeping on floors and fucking people's, I can't think of where, but they were sleeping on floors at some point. So again, it was a time period where if you wanted it bad enough and you worked your fucking ass off, you could have it.
And you didn't die.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, and
sorry to say it, but it's the truth.
It's true.
Yeah. You were an LA kid, right?
I'm one of the last actual born and raised. It's actually, I'm from Boyle Heights, which is
right on.
Right.
Yeah, East LA. But yeah,
great tacos over there.
Are you kidding me? Like I said, there's some Mexican restaurants that are leaving, but there's Alan B's that's right there in Boyle Heights, and then of course there's the great a place right there on Olvera Street that sells taquitos. That is just like, we go there. Me and my wife will go there. It takes us 35 minutes to get there. We'll eat in 10 minutes, get back in our car, and drive 35 minutes home.
So,
did you ever? There was a place. It's a place on Santa Monica Boulevard, right where it crosses either the 5 or the 101, called El Gran Burrito.
No.
Oh man,
it was
like a burrito flea market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
It's like almost, they had almost everything in food trucks, and you just eat outside.
Oh, I love it.
It closed down after COVID. It's gone.
Dude,
but El Gran Burrito, and then in Santa Monica there was a place called Tacos Por Favor.
Oh, I don't.
And I thought that both of those restaurants should receive some acclaim for what they named their establishments.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that one. At least I would have liked, because that's what we do now. Me and my wife will go on a food tour and go find new places to eat. Just oh yeah,
dude. I have I've been down in Los Angeles. I'm a Northern California kid, but I've been down in LA for the past 30 years, and I found out two truths to Mexican restaurants in Los Angeles. Number one, the worse it looks on the outside, the better it is on the inside.
Yep.
Anytime you see a Mexican restaurant with neon lights and signs, avoid that place like the plague. They're trying to get you in there because no one wants to eat there. Number two, dude, try this sometime. I found a new test to try to find a new Mexican place. I always look on a Yelp or a Uber Eats or whatever, and I search caldo de pollo.
Okay.
And if you make chicken soup good enough to put it on the menu, I feel like I can trust anything else that's coming out of that kitchen.
I've always thought if the beans are good at a Mexican restaurant, then pretty much everything is going to be good. But if the beans are somehow overcooked or have too much fat or too much of a specific ingredient, then chances are that's the way the rest of their food's going to be as well.
Yeah. So much science to Mexican food. All right, continue.
So Jimmy, where I was going with, you're from there, and you were talking about people, sleeping on floors, like Blackie famously slept in a closet. Did you ever have to go through that because you were from there? You had a home to go to.
Yeah, no, I had a home to go to. That was one of the things. Do I think that it hurt me at all? I don't think so, but I do know that there was a sense of urgency of the guys I knew that came out from other places, from Michigan or from somewhere. They came out and they had a sense of urgency because they didn't want to sleep on the floor anymore, so they worked 10 times harder. I do remember that very specifically. Yeah, guys did that. They worked
for a lot of those guys too. There was no going back home.
No, there wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
No, they couldn't. I knew guys that sold like John Karabi, who I've known since he came here with his first band. Oh shit, I can't think of what they're called right now.
So it was before the Scream.
It was before the Scream. It'll come to me in a minute. But if I'm not mistaken, I think they sold their Harleys to get out here, or they. Wow. I mean, I remember him saying that that they really they did what they had to do to get out here. But a lot of bands, I remember hearing about them coming out from back east that were just like, will do anything to become successful.
Yeah.
And that to me is a sign of, seriousness about it. Because a lot of bands, listen, this. A lot of bands just, if it happened, it happened for them. If it didn't, it didn't, But there's a lot of musicians I know that they were not going to give up anytime soon, man.
Yeah, we saw them on Decline of the Western Civilization Part 2, and then never heard from them again.
Yeah, there you go. Those guys.
Yeah.
They were called Angora. That's what it was.
Yeah.
John's band was called Angora.
What was... I'm going to have to remember that for when he's on the show in a couple weeks. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm just proclaiming it.
Good.
The ride up must have... the ride up, getting signed, the whole thing, that must have been a blast. But how was it when grunge hit, or as I like to call it, the Great Wall of Nirvana? And that was kind of... obviously... It was the end of something that at that time probably really needed to end because it was just copycats, clones, and.
Can I tell you something? I have gotten a lot of shit for saying this, and the truth was this, you guys. If we had in our genre more Rats and Motleys and more bands that really were fucking like Tesla, I thought Kix was fucking one of the greatest bands I'd ever seen in my life. If we had more of those bands, grunge wouldn't have done what it did. The reason grunge was as successful is because it was a response to a bunch of bland fucking music that was a formula. You got a blonde singer.
Yep.
You wrote some ballads, and then you fucking got signed, and then you went to work. That to me was complete horseshit. Because to me, rock and roll was always about kind of traveling into new places and still doing it with angst and love and fucking with your balls and your cock hanging out. Yeah. That was rock and roll for me. Robert Plant, out there with his fucking cock to the left in his tight jeans. I was like, that motherfucker's badass.
Yeah.
We lost all that. We lost all that. There was no more integrity. There was no more that's why Guns N' Roses, when they came out, I remember we were all in LA.
Mhm.
And of course, I had known both the bands coming up. When it was what was out? It was there was something else before that.
Right.
Before Guns N'
So
Roses.
Tracy, so
Yeah,
Tracy started it as Guns N' Roses.
but there was something else I thought for a second there.
Yeah. Whatever Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I remember we saw that stuff and it was good. It wasn't phenomenal. It was okay. And
Right.
then they went away and they came back. And I remember we saw them at some small club in Hollywood. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like I said, with Motley and seeing certain bands come out, we saw Rage Against the Machine when the night they got signed. We saw them at a venue, and you knew it. You knew, like, holy shit, this is the beginning of something new.
Something's changed. Yeah.
Dude, it was like like apparent. And again, those bands all had heart, soul, and a message. Guns N' Roses, Rage, any band that came out.
What's funny is I could say, going off of that, is Guns N' Roses was one bookend of that.
Yeah.
GNR changed everything overnight.
Everything. Dude, I remember everybody had teased hair and had a certain look, and then they came out, and then literally the next day, everybody had cowboy boots and let their hair grow out long, and they looked a little more fucking like homeless chic. I was like, what the fuck just happened? It, like you said, it happened overnight. It was wild. Yeah.
Well, even though in the Jungle video, Axl had the fucking hair to
right?
When did you got into you got into movie and TV music production, correct?
Yeah.
How long after Bullet Boys, after the original fizzle out, did that happen? And are you still doing it? Because your Wikipedia only goes up to like 2018.
You know what? Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to have to update that. Yeah, that was through my wife. My wife was at EMI Music Publishing for a lot of years. So she was, getting me in contact with people there. And there was a program there, the Masters program, where they were re-recording masters and stuff. And I was bringing in certain artists, musicians with me. And we were just retracking stuff, putting stuff in, just certain places, just a placement for songs and television. I did some stuff with a couple of guys out here. And the funny part about it is I really wasn't, once the songs left the studio, for the most part, I don't know really where they went. I just know they were sold out of here.
Right.
But a couple of them, it was nice to hear, or see, in a pinball machine somewhere or something like that. I think it tickles me to no end if you ever watched the movie Beer Fest. Bullet Boys has a song "Hard as a Rock" is in Beer Fest. Right when they start to train by drinking alcohol to the point of nauseum, and then they hit the tape player, and Bullet Boys starts right then. To me, stuff like that, I just thought it makes me happy to no end that that we're still doing something out there like that.
Right. Well, dude, it's so weird that there's three guys that I know in our genre: you, Tim Mosier from Junkyard, and Fred Curry.
Oh, Fred.
Three. And I mean, Fred's on a whole nother level.
Yeah, he's whole nother level. Yeah. Actually, what's funny is Fred. One day I was at his studio and because we hang out just lunch and we have, I remember I did the first major tour of my life was Cinderella, Winger, Bullet Boys. It was like 5.5 months sold out. So when you do that, you live with somebody.
Fucking wow.
Yeah, it was nutty. Kooky.
19.
Yeah, it was absolutely nutty. And Fred just took to me. He liked me. So he would, hey, Jimmy D, come with me to go do what we're doing an in-store. Come with me. And I'd like, okay. And I just go hang out with them all day. So we have always been close. I mean, we talk literally, every other day we still talk, and we're just, I love him dearly. But I went to a studio one day and he's sitting there and he's like, hey, do me a favor. He goes, go get those sticks and then hit this floor tom and give me like this cadence of shaka-da-gun, shaka-da-gun, shaka-da-gun. I go, yeah, I'll do that. And then I go do it, and then we go get lunch and we leave. Okay. Fast forward, I'm at an LA Kings game, and the Kings score a goal, and then this song comes on, shaka-da-gun, shaka-da-gun, and I go, what the fuck? So I'm hitting a floor tom in the song and I didn't even know that's what it was for the Kings. He does music for the Kings. It was just I called him and I go, dude, you're epic, bro, epic.
That's amazing. I don't know if either of you guys have heard this, if you've been watching any NFL over the past season, but and this is probably easily discernible by a quick internet search, but I don't work that way. I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion that Paul Rogers sold his catalog and someone involved with NFL broadcasts bought it. And everything except for Paul's voice has obviously been retracked. It's like you're hearing Bad Company, you're hearing Free, but you're not hearing Bad Company. You're not hearing Free. You are hearing Paul Rogers and a bunch of LA studio musicians who just wrote out everybody for mechanical royalties going forward.
Wow.
And I don't know the answer.
Right.
I kind of hoping somebody else does, but I'm sure the internet has the answer. But
yes, Bad Company. This is according to the AI overview.
Okay.
Primary Wave acquires the catalogs of Bad Company's Paul Rogers.
There you go.
It wasn't fully sold outright. Lead singer Paul Rogers sold a significant stake in this publishing royalties and master recording income streams for both Bad Company and Free Primary Wave music in 2022. And
well, now I feel empty, dude. What am I going to do now? What's my new conspiracy theory, Izzy? I didn't want this solved immediately.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm kidding.
That's
awesome.
Dawson, that's the thing. You can tell when that happens because there's fucking cold gin is showing up in fucking commercials now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fucking, it's great. It's fucking great.
I'd rather just hear Bad Company songs.
I'm always concerned that just the money needs to be going to the right places. That's all.
Right.
After Spotify, we're just fucked. The musicians are just, I mean, I checked one time, and I think Bulletboys has like 6 million streams, and I was getting like nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Just crazy. You know?
Yeah, I just cashed out my for 4 years, I think it was. I made $11.
It's just
one song.
Dude, so fucking that's just horrible. It's just fucking horrible, man.
Yeah.
Well,
granted, it's only got like 37 streams, but but
listen, but we all now know when fucking Lars Ulrich was fucking ringing the bell back in the day.
Yep.
We should have all fucking listened to him, and
we were pissed.
I was on Team Metallica during that whole Napster shit, dude.
I'm telling you, I didn't understand what he was talking about. I'll be 100% honest. I was like, how does that fucking affect me? Like, whatever, dude. This is how it affects me.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, apparently, rumor and innuendo says that somebody had a fucking deal that was great for everybody, and the record company said no. And then, fuck it, the dude that created Napster, it's like he brought them the idea, and they're like, nah, fuck this, and it's going to ruin us.
Listen, of course, because now the record labels know they can make much more money because they make the deals themselves through this. So that's why they're like, why pay these guys when I can make the money? So it's just it's a bad scene because listen, for guys like me and musicians who get a little bit of something, that's one thing. But for a new band, they make music for free.
Yeah.
Literally, they just make it as a calling card, and that's fucked up, man. That's just to me, that's just.
It's not fucked up when you're 19, though.
Well, it is and it isn't because you and I both know, Dawson, that we would do it for free back then.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
It's just
that's
so
all
much
I'm
fun.
saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
But when after 10 years of this guy doing it and he has a kid and stuff and realizes like I get nothing from this.
100%.
Yeah. So that's a tough part. But
do you think? Well, Jimmy, let me ask you this: do you think that's going to affect the business going forward with people wanting to get into it?
I think that what it's going to do personally is it's going to alter the way the amount of time and effort they put into music. I think they're going to use AI to make music. It's not going to be something that like you and I sit, like you got your guitar behind you. You sat there for fucking years trying to fucking go, okay, what the fuck? And then you practice and you learn. And then you went and you got into a studio and you paid a guy. You did this process. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kids say will go, well, God, that seems like I get anything from it, but I'll just have AI do this, or I'll have this do this, and I think that we're just going to get a watered down version of music these days.
I agree, and I'm going to add to that. by offering that we're going to see a lot less touring musicians.
Oh yeah,
because people are now free to create something on a computer that they cannot reproduce.
That they
on the
don't
stage.
have to. You're right.
Right.
Yeah, they won't have to. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's sad for all of us because listen, we grew up watching some of the greatest rock and roll musicians in the history of the world. We saw Queen in 1978. We saw Queen. But when we left the forum, I remember just feeling like I had discovered plutonium. I felt like I discovered something that was going to change the world. I did by seeing Freddie Mercury. You know, but the year before we saw Van Halen at the forum and seeing Dave Roth and Edward Van Halen was just like you feel like you have the secret to life, to the universe. You know what to do now. It just changes your life. And now these kids today will never have that experience.
Right. I mean, they can still watch The Wall on acid.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
kind of get the same.
Right.
But that's wow. Yeah, absolutely. But I guess the other side of that coin is it's going to force live music back to the localities, and we're going to start seeing the resurgence of garage bands.
I hope so.
Fucking heavy and hard now.
I hope so. And I haven't seen some of that. You're right.
Yeah.
Jimmy, do you think the relationship with the music has changed? I mean, you remember it was so different for us because we didn't have it at our fingertips. I remember going to my first Kiss show, which was Hot in the Shade, and I had that feeling of, oh my God, I'm in the same building as fucking Gene and Paul right now. Yeah. You know, do you think that relationship has changed and that worship has changed?
Huh.
Well, I think here's what's weird because I work with a lot of young kids, you know, well, not anymore, but that was a while I was working with younger kids. And to them, Kiss and Van Halen and Aerosmith, that's more folklore for them. You know, for us, we had the ability to go, oh, they're in town, I'm going to buy a ticket and go see them.
Right.
For them, it's like Hammer of the Gods. It's like this entity out there. But what I will say what's interesting is we don't have any musicians who are leading the charge. I feel like that's something that I've noticed that, you know, like a movement. You know, when Marilyn Manson came out, I remember seeing all these little goth kids coming out. You know, I don't care what anybody says about Fred Durst. He may be a dick. You may hate him. But when he came out, the way he dressed and the way he acted, I saw a bunch of little fuckers running around like him. You know, and those are, again, these are the entities that help to further these musicians as they're growing up. And they can say, oh, yeah, when I was a kid, I was in a Fred Durst. Now, of course, you know, I found Tom Waits. You know, I found, you know, Captain Beefheart, and I understand more about what it is to be a real musician. But I just think that, unfortunately, because, you know, for several things, MTV, which I don't know if you guys know this, but MTV is done as of the 31st year, which I thought
very important part of your career, too.
Listen, for a lot of musicians, we would not have the careers we'd had if it wasn't for MTV.
Again, you're members of an exclusive club.
Yeah. And again, without them and without like real radio, bands just can't have the careers that they deserve, no matter how good they are, because they just don't have the tentacles that go out everywhere and get to fans, and people go, ooh, what band is this? Oh, this is really cool. They just don't have that ability, and that's a tough part. But they do have the internet.
Yep.
But also in that same instance, there's now where there used to be 10,000 bands, now there's literally 110,000 bands. And so you're dizzy from the amount of intake, you know, looking around for new bands. You're dizzy from it. You know?
Well, yeah, and I did want to bring this up before when I first brought it up, but you know, Eddie Trunk always says, like, it's great that anybody can put out music, but it sucks that anybody can put out music because everybody bitched about the gatekeepers, but those gatekeepers did a very important job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I said about podcasting when it first started.
Oh, shit.
Dude, I spent 30 years in radio. I'm like, what now? Anybody can fucking talk into a goddamn microphone. This is fucking bullshit.
Yes and no, because listen, I watch some podcasts and I'll watch one time and I go, these cats don't know what they're doing. They think it's as simple as talking to a microphone, and it's far, far, far from that. In order to engage an audience with actual with some type of intellect that makes them go, oh, I never thought about that. That's an art form in itself. I don't care.
Then what the fuck are you doing on this show? Yeah.
Well, listen, you offered me some good money, and I thought,
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, of course.
Jimmy, kind of taking this full circle, since we're on the business side of it right now, has there been any talk about Bullet Boys maybe wanting to do music? Or are you just taking it one step at a time?
Well,
I know it's early.
Yeah, we are taking it one step at a time. But I spoke with Mick a while back, or I say a while back. We've only been doing this for about less than a month. And he mentioned, maybe just sitting down and sifting through some of the old demos that we have, and I think that's a really good idea. It would be nice to put something out. Let's be honest, though, Izzy. Does anybody really care when a band from our generation puts out a new album? Because what we've done already is we've given them what they want. Okay, listen, the first album, it's just it's what made us. The second album for me is my favorite because I was actually involved in the process. Meaning as far as I was there, I was present. Yeah. But I think that bands put records out today for a different reason altogether. I think it's to show, hi, we still know how to do this one thing.
Right.
And of course, then it provides new merch as well. And, for a fan, they can say, oh, you know what? I would like to go out and purchase or download or whatever the hell the process is these days.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good thing because you know what? I don't want to live off laurels. At the same time, I'm not fooled. I don't think we're going to sell, a shit ton of records. I don't think we're going to, break any sound barrier of like, whoa, something great happened. But I think it would be fun. I think it'd be fun to get in the studio with Mark, with Mick and Lonnie and sit there and count out 1, 2, 1, 2, and do a recording, an actual recording as a band. To me, that would be a lot of fun. I would hope for that.
Yeah, but like you said, it's like, does anybody really care? It's like that's a double-edged sword because
it is.
I did I do the Patreon and I did an episode on that, but there's the other side of it where the hardcore fans do.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way. Think about this, though. Here's a good question. Do you think you'd be more apt to sell your new record to an audience after you showed them the respect of not playing any of your new songs?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because, hey, on your way, by the way, end of the show. By the way, we got a new record. We're not going to play any of it, but you can pick up a copy on your way out. Here's the song you all came for. Boom. End of show. House lights. Goodbye.
Hey, you know
Cha-ching.
What? But wait a minute. That's still not as bad. And I know we've all seen this where we go and see one of our favorite bands from back in the day, and they don't play the songs you go to see them play. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? I want to hear those 3 songs. You didn't play any of those songs. That to me is a bigger slap in the face. I'm sorry.
On the other hand, I agree. But I like the Black Crowes is one of my favorite bands of all time. I've seen them over 50 times. And I don't really care when they play She Talks to Angels. That's when I'll go take a leak and get a beer.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's different. You don't want to know why for me personally? Because the radio killed that song for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Once I heard it at Ralph's, I was over that track.
Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, you're just trying to get some pepperoncini and some toilet paper. And fucking...
And I was like, I felt the same way about Def Leppard because I was a Def Leppard fan. And then at a time, I got sick of them, not because of anything of their own doing. The radio stations in LA play them to death, and it made me not like them.
But I think, we have that mentality from the musician point of view. There's a reason that when they play those songs, the crowd goes wild. And there's a reason those songs had that airplay is because they're good for. I mean, you can hate on Sweet Child of Mine all you want.
Yeah. Like I said,
I know. I know exactly what you meant. I know you didn't mean that, but I think sometimes that as musicians and being in the industry, we have to remember that instead of just hating this fucking song because we've heard it 10 billion times. Well, there's a reason we've heard it 10 billion times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And also, that's probably for me personally, that's when I stopped listening to the radio and started, like about, I don't know how many years ago, I was buying songs from iTunes. I was buying them. You know, I don't even know if you guys know this. You know that you can't buy songs anymore from iTunes?
Oh, you rent them.
You rent them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't buy them anymore? When did that change?
You have to subscribe.
Yeah, you subscribe.
It's a subscription.
Izzy, I went to go buy something the other day, and nope, it's not. The option's not there.
You have to go to the store.
Even at the store, I think there's something there that was weird that I couldn't do. It was
That's
a weird
because I've bought songs recently.
Recently you bought songs?
Yeah, like how long has it been? Do you think?
Well, what I'm doing, I have a funk band, you guys, a funk cover band that we just play nothing but the funk and the whole funk. And there I was able to buy something, but I bought them from somewhere else, and it wasn't them. I bought them from somewhere else. And then I put them into which is really bad, you guys. There's an app now that creates stems. So I took out the drums, the guitar, and the bass, and then I have Earth, Wind, and Fire, all the horns, all the background vocals, all the keyboard parts in my PA here to a click track. So
you're playing along with it.
Yeah, so I'm on drums, I got a guitar player, I got a bass player, and they both lead sing, and it is, my wife's in the house, and she comes in, she's like, that wasn't the Gap Band? I'm like, nope. She goes, that was you? I go, yep. She's like,
wow.
It sound, because you have the ability through technology, you know. Right. Now we're all, we're saying some negative stuff about technology today, you know,
right.
You know, but that is absolutely incredible for me because I want a 3-piece band, and this is a way to do it where I can still do all the instruments. But it is scary to know I got really Stevie Wonder's actual keyboard part, in my studio.
That's pretty sweet, dude.
Yeah.
That's using the technology, not the technology using you.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. I mean, since you're doing that, I mean, how do you feel about bands from your era using tracks and using what the late great Jeff LaBar used to call pixie dust?
Yeah. It's funny because I know
you know a lot of people who do it.
Well, of course. Yeah. But I know Eddie Trunk had he really frowns upon it, and he's mentioned it many a time that he thinks it's, if you can't do what you can do, then maybe you shouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I used to be a hard stand on, what, if you can't do it, then fucking stop doing it. But the older I get, the more I realize if the fans are having a good time, then I don't care anymore, honestly. Wow. Now, listen, if it's every bit, if you're not singing, if you're not playing the guitar, you're not playing the bass, then it's like that's a hard no. But if you're still playing and you have background vocals or a keyboard part or
different.
Some congas, that's different. But if you're doing everything, then stop. I just stop. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. I think if the lead vocals are all tracks, it's like, come on.
Yeah. I agree.
I've heard that Frankie Valli is basically that's what he's, but he's also 900 years old.
That's different now. I accept that guy because I can still see him personally. I'll go with that. Right. But if you're still in your early or your late 50s, late 60s, and you already got backing tracks doing every instrument there, then that's a hard, come on, you guys.
Like
seriously?
If I ever get to go see Barry Manilow and I find out he's lip syncing, I'll be crying. Not because I'm in the room with Barry Manilow.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that and because he doesn't have a big band.
There it is.
Yes, you will cry when you're in the room with Barry Manilow. We all know it. I'll cry. Jimmy will cry. Everybody cries. He writes the songs to make the young girls cry.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Must have been while you were kissing. Jimmy, is there anybody left that you haven't met that you would get nervous around or still do get nervous around? Like every time I see Kotzen, I hail him. He's a friend of mine, but it's like, hi, Richard. Is there anybody you get nervous around or would get nervous around?
No, I don't think so because I'll tell you why, you guys. On my 21st birthday at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, I was sitting there, and my manager at the time, Dave Kaplan, who still manages me on from time to time, Dave Kaplan, he walked over to me and he goes, Jimmy, he goes, get up. I was at a table. Get up, because I had a huge party in the very back of the place. He walks me over, and there's Robert Plant sitting right there. And he goes, like, I'm the special one. He goes, Robert Plant, I would like you to meet Jimmy D'Anda from Bullet Boys. And Robert gets up out of the booth. And I'll never forget, because I'm not a short guy. I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I remember he stood up, and I remember I looked up at him. This is in 1989, wow. 90, somewhere in that department. And I remember looking up at him, and he starts talking to me. He's like, "Hey, mate, so how's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's going good," you know. And I'm talking to Robert Plant about music. And I just remember like having flashbacks of going to the midnight showing of watching Song Remains the Same right there in UCLA. I can't think there's a movie theater that used to have a midnight showing of Rocky Horror Picture, Zeppelin, The Wall. And I remember like just looking at him, and then here he is talking to me about music. Yeah. And after that, it was kind of like everybody I met, like I hung out Ed Van Halen, and Ed was always, you know, he's a sweetheart. He used to give me big wet kisses on my cheek. You know, one of the first times I ever snorted coke was with David Lee Roth and Mark Tureen at the Rainbow. I was like 17 years old. But Robert Plant was just a different, it was like, I can't ever explain it. It's just like, it's like pretty much almost talking to a Beatle or something. It's just like, you know, changes you. So after that, nobody really ever fucked me up like that. Cause I just kind of like it, you just kind of go, well, I just saw the sun, and now, you know, there's other things, but the sun's the sun.
You ever thought about writing a book?
You know, I've had some experiences, and I've talked to some people, and they said I should do that. Especially with my getting clean and sober, because there was some really dark, ugly stuff that I experienced, and they said that stuff that, you know, and then getting clean really could be a good read. But stories like that, and got into a fight with Eddie Van Halen, a physical fist fight.
Hold on, time out.
Hold on, listen, I don't want to get into that right now, but I will. But listen.
Next time.
I guess that'll be in the book,
and it will be. It will be, because it was a thing.
Did he show up in a Hummer with the fucking with the camo shorts and fucking guns and shit, trying to get his guitar backs from you? Or
yeah, give us venue, time of day, and what he was wearing. Just give us that much.
It was at the Forum. It was in his dressing room, and it was surrounded by 2 of his security guards and my security guard.
That's awesome.
It's fucking great.
It's a start.
Drunk,
it's a start.
Just very drunk and coked up. It's a very bad scene. Very bad scene. Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
Mark. You just said Mark, and of course I said Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. Jimmy, people want to find you. Where can they find you?
So, you know, I'm not like a really heavy presence in the internet world, but I am on all socials. So you can find me anywhere from Facebook to Instagram, TikTok, X, you know, pretty much all those places. And, you know, I do my best to stay, you know, in the know. I'm working on a YouTube channel, so I can start I'm doing drum stuff, breakdown of like, let's listen to Aerosmith. Let's talk about what Joey Kramer did in this one section, and let's dissect it and go from hi-hat to snare drum to kick drum. And I'm going to start doing that hopefully somewhere soon.
Nice.
Okay,
that's cool.
So you're going to be breaking down 100,000 years, the live one version. See? Is Peter Criss now one of the most underrated and fucking drummers that people shit on, and he's so fucking awesome?
I'll go further than that, Izzy. He is possibly one of the most important drummers in contemporary music, and I'll tell you why. I know drummers will go, what? No, but no. This is a fucking 1,000,000,000% truth. He influenced the starting of a human being picking up drumsticks and putting them down on a beat, on a drum, on a snare drum, on something, possibly more than any drummer in the history of the world. And I'll tell you, this is the reason why, okay? A John Bonham, when you start to listen to drumming there, he's too out of your range. What he does seems, it's like going to the moon. It's just too much.
Yeah.
What he did, and remember, the Beatles, the music movement had started with Ringo Starr. I mean, you know, you really couldn't be a musician. It was something that somebody else did.
Yeah.
But by the mid-'70s, everybody was trying to be a musician, and Peter Criss was one of the first guys to say, "Listen, do this, ga, 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 ga." And when he did that, I was like, "I want to do that. I want to do what he's doing. Show me. Who can show me how to do this?" It was like almost like I said earlier. It's like discovering, an ingredient that you didn't know existed on the planet, and then he shows it to you, and you just want to do it. And I did it every day. Once I learned how to play the drum beat to "Do You Love Me," I played that every day for hours and hours, every day, all day, months into years.
And it's weird. It's like with Peter and like, even with Steven Adler, there was a swing and there was a feel that nobody could replicate. It was all in the wrists, and because obviously Peter came up on Krupa and all those big band jazz stuff, which is what he brought to rock and roll. And Adler he just had a fucking feel. He had a swing to him.
Yeah, he did.
And you can't replicate
but you hit the nail on the head because he came from a big band background. That's what gave him and Kiss their swing. And Steven Adler. I mean, listen, you can say whatever you want. When Steven would get up and do those 3 songs with GNR, when he came back for that minute, it was Guns N' Roses. Nothing against Frank, nothing against any drummer spinner. They're all you're all great. But when he played those songs, everyone went, "Oh, that's it." What I was trying to figure out what was wrong.
Right.
He's not fucking there.
Right.
When he played, dude, I was like, I exhaled and my dick got hard at the same time. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you. Fuck. It's just so perfect, man.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's not real Bad Company songs on the NFL promo bumpers.
Right?
One other quick question for you, Jimmy. You mentioned the funk cover band that you're in. You guys play around the San Fernando Valley, and part 2 of that question, although they're not a traditional funk band, do you guys do any blood, sweat, and tears?
We don't do blood, sweat, and tears, but we literally do. The band's called Mandatory Get Down.
Okay.
Mandatory Get Down. It's a 3-piece. It's Derek Day, who actually plays with Stephen Perkins in a couple of bands. And he's actually playing with a couple of different guys. He's just a sweetheart of a kid. And then the other gentleman is, oh my God, I'm going to go blank because of the medicine I'm on. I'm so, you guys know I'm getting over a cold right now, right?
Yeah.
Griffin Tucker. Sorry, Griffin.
Okay.
Griffin Tucker is a phenomenal musician, singer, songwriter, but those guys, they play in perspective bands, and they came together with me, and we do these. We do everything from Michael Jackson, and I mean the good Michael Jackson, to Parliament. To
not the child toucher, Michael Jackson, the good Michael Jackson. Right. Okay.
We don't do any child touching.
Okay.
Ohio Players. We do. Gosh darn it, CAMEO. I mean, we do songs that I mean, even
Word up, bro.
We do all that stuff, and I'm telling you, it's 3 hours of dance that you'll come and see it, and every song you'll go, I fucking love this song, and the next song comes, fire. I love this song. Every song we play, at one point, you just kind of go, this is exhausting. At some point, it's
all right. Mandatory Get Down. Is that on the Insta or the Twitters?
Right now we're building it as we speak. Like,
all right.
But rehearsals.
You're gonna see me out at a show,
dude. Rehearsals are in here, and you're more welcome to come down and hang out, but we're definitely going to be booking out in between Bullet Boys and their bands that they got going on.
I fucking love it. Jimmy D'Anda of Bulletboys back again.
Yes, Bullet Boys.
Of the Bullet. Let me help now. Outro music. Mike Dawson. People want to find you. Where can they find the great Dos Angeles?
I'm just at the @Dos Angeles.
All over the place. Twitter,
all
Instagram,
over the place.
Facebook, everywhere.
Very simple. I love it.
That's right. And of course, you can hear Dawson on the Adam Carolla Show, on the Water Cooler, and North Carolina, Charlotte. Woo!
That's true. That's true. You can hear me weekday afternoons from 3 to 7 p.m. on 95.7 FM, The Ride, in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I love it. And of course, you can find the show. The show page is Another Effing Podcast on the Facebook. You can find me, Real Izzy Presley, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, CAMEO. And the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, kids. If you're listening to this, you heard it commercial free on the Patreon. You heard it on the fucking Apple. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ, these commercials are pissing me off. Come to the Patreon. $5 a month. On behalf of Jimmy D'Anda, Mike Dawson, my name is Izzy Presley. And don't forget, when I lack in talent, I make up for it in the cock.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're a little late. So say good night, Gracie.
Good night.
Good night.